This is our annual time of emphasis on stewardship. And we're going to start with a message from Greg and Jackie Rugani, who are our stewardship chairs here at Prince of Peace. They have a message on our weekly theme about courage.
Remember, we would talk about where this virus originated and all what's going on, and these numbers are terrible. And then you're hearing about Italy, and the next thing that happened for us is we were in San Francisco. We got there February 28th. We go down, walking along Fisherman's Wharf, and there was no one there. I kept thinking, where is everybody? It was this unsettling feeling. And then you realize they're quarantining cruise ships out in the harbor, but you still don't think about how it's going to affect you directly. And then we get back, and within the next week, the world shut down. And you start to think, all of the things that I do on a regular basis have just changed. How did we not see this coming, knowing it was right there in China? But until it directly affects you, you don't realize the impact of it. And suddenly, here we were. I had decided to leave my law practice. I was going to travel more with Greg, with his job, do work with the church that I dearly love. And obviously he's not traveling, and then suddenly he gets furloughed and then finds out he doesn't have a job.
Yeah. So during the course of all this, and I'll say this, when you talk about courage, I feel like what we've gone through compared to what other people have gone through, it doesn't take a lot of courage. I haven't had to go and work 12-hour shifts in a hospital. I haven't had to sit with COVID patients who couldn't be with their families. But we did have some obstacles to overcome, and I was furloughed on April 15th. On the 8th of June, I was told I no longer had a position with the company. During the course of between April and June, the company that I worked for was sold. I thought I was going to be going to work for a new company. Found out that I wasn't going to work for a new company. So there were a lot of changes that were going on and things we were grappling with. I will say this, and I think that Jackie may have been surprised a little bit, or just maybe not. I never felt, I was never worried. I was never afraid. And a lot of that, and we talked about it, is because of my faith in God and knowing He has a plan for us. I oftentimes joke with my family, I live a charmed life. But it's not so much a charmed life, but it's one of faith, and it's one of deep faith and understanding that God has always been giving to us, and things will happen for reasons. And you trust in yourself, you trust in the Lord, and you come out on the other side, wherever that may be. The good news was I connected with some friends who were doing some business ventures. They were looking for somebody with my skill set, and so therefore I was employed by the 1st of August. It wasn't, from a financial hardship, it really didn't impact us that much at all, and we're back going at it, going strong. So, always that faith and that belief that things will be better on the other side. I don't think any of us sat in March and thought that, here going into October, we would still be what's going on today. I don't know why we wouldn't think that, but knowing no reality of what it is today is very different from what we thought back in March. We just thought it would eventually, summertime would make this go away. We would be back in church. We'd be back doing the things that we'd love to do. And we had family members who, when we first started this, who we isolated with, and they isolated. And Jackie's daughter, my stepdaughter, was very forthright when we decided to kind of open up ourselves again, that she wanted her family back.
Yeah, and for me, what you just said is exactly the point. You have the courage that, despite the fact that we, to some extent felt to me like the bottom fell out of our world, I always looked at you and your positivity and your courage, and knowing, you one day you don't have a job, and you're like, but this will work out, this will be fine. And we're isolated in terms of we're not doing the things we would normally do, and
kind of hard to interview at that point in time.
Yeah, but with you, have always had the courage to move forward and continue in that positive way that, oh, this will work out because I won't have it any other way, and that courage and that determination, you know, even though we are isolated and we're not doing all the things, I believed that it would happen. So that's the important thing.
Well, not only is God a cornerstone in our life, but you know, the foundation of our marriage and a love for each other helps get us through a lot of hard times.
It does.